Do you need ways to help your students read science information more effectively? Do your students have problems sorting out important science concepts? Do you need an effective way to assess your students' understanding? If so, then Foldables, an exclusive hands-on learning tool from Glencoe, is the solution you've been looking for. Foldables are fun, easy to make, three-dimensional, interactive graphic organizers. They can be used to help students achieve reading success, study more effectively, and can even help you assess students' understanding. These unique student-made tools were created exclusively for Glencoe Science by teaching specialist Dinah Zeik. Now, here's a message from the creator of Foldables, Dinah Zeik.
Hi, my name is Dinah Zeik, and I've been writing and designing educational materials for 30 years. You might not know my name, but I bet you know at least one of the hundreds of educational materials that I've invented, designed, or adapted from existing materials that you will see used in supplemental books and programs and even used by workshop presenters. My materials are things that will take complicated data and make it visual. When I first began to teach, this is what I used. We used cases and cases and cases of this white paper. We duplicated science activities and passed them out to the students, and they became masters at fill in the blank and short answer. But many of the students couldn't even read this and find the main idea, or let alone read the textbook and begin to go in and find the points that they needed to know. So I thought, what could I do to make this an activity that would be memorable for the students, where they could record their own data, and it would become more of a production activity for them. I would think, if this duplicating sheet is about, let's say, the parts of the ocean, and we're looking at the continental land, the shelf, the slope, and the floor. The text that we're getting ready to read is about the parts of the ocean. If I could take a sheet of paper, and there were 4 things that we're going to look at in this text, and divide that sheet of paper into 4 sections. Now, each of these 4 sections, in the beginning, I would just have the students come in and just literally write land, shelf, slope, and floor, hoping it would just sort of go, you know, yoo-hoo, this is what you need to read for, this is what you need to know. And it worked, but we live in such a visual world, such a visual society. I thought, what if instead I could make this very graphic? What if I could have the students come in, and it could either be where the students draw this or where the students come in and make this fold it themselves like I'm doing. I can cut faster than I can draw, so let me just show you what I mean. By the way, if you ever want to cut a sheet of paper in half, just cut the fold off, and that's the fastest way to get it in half. If I could take this sheet of paper, have the students come in and do the exact same thing, but now cut the parts of the ocean. Now, even as they're doing this, just this interaction and the tactile aspect of this is going to help them remember. So I thought if I could get them to cut the ocean floor, the abyssal plains, the flattest region on Earth's surface, less rise per square kilometer than any other region, cut the land, the shelf, the slope, and the ocean floor, that it would help them to remember. Then have them take their glue and put just a dot on the back of this. And I know some of you taught middle school just so you didn't have to use this, but I've got news for you. It's back. We're using it again, and the kids are adoring it. They love these hands-on kinds of activities and getting into what they're actually doing and making it physical. And watch what happens on this. If I just place this to the front, we now literally have a graphic organizer that shows the continental land, the shelf, the slope, and the floor. Now, I wanted the students to come in and have writing integration with this. Think of the difference between this and using a sheet of notebook paper. If I had asked them to take their notes as they were writing and recording main ideas on a sheet of notebook paper, their notes, even as we were discussing, would just be in a hodgepodge on the sheet of paper. Sometimes we'd talk about the continental land, sometimes the shelf back to the continental land, sometimes the slope, sometimes the ocean floor. Where this way, if they're taking their notes, if they've made this before they read, and their notes are underneath the tabs, they're literally physically interacting with the parts of the ocean and what they're reading about in their textbook as they're recording their notes, and as they're recording their thoughts, and as they're recording their ideas. And many times these are used to record questions as well, because as students read, questions occur to them. Now, this is what Glencoe saw in my materials, something that they could take and use at the beginning of each of their chapters, where the students would have a before you read, something that said, this is what you're going to read, and this is something that you can come in and begin to take your notes and activities and ideas underneath.
If you want to integrate Foldables into your classroom, there's no easier way than to use Glencoe Science. Foldable strategies are woven into the student edition, with even more ideas and teacher support in the Teacher Wraparound Edition. Glencoe also has Dinah Zeik's Teaching Science with Foldables book and video to help you get started. Foldables. Kids love them because they're fun. Teachers love them because they're effective.